The process of change.
No.
Transition.
No. She didn't want me to roll the intro.
Process of change from one thing
so
to another.
We are, I just felt that, first of all, I didn't think the whole show is going to be based on transgender, number one.
I thought maybe that it may have something to do with it because they talked about transition, and
but we like
the
when
pink and blue flag. I mean,
before the whole thing ever started, we starting to talk to the guy about our spiritual views and everything else. Hey, she said him, but hello, girl with no name, Spooner. Becky, yes, of course. But I didn't know if she wanted people to know.
Sorry. Well, there's only two people.
But
next to you.
Yes.
Hi.
I felt that the host, Jim, was not, I don't know, he kind of like wanted to disregard my knowledge, my years of experience and all of this, and then find out that he has an aunt that's transgender. So that's why they're defending him.
He was personally invested.
Exactly. So people that are personally invested don't want to hear the reality. We know it's Beck. All good. We know. What?
Oh, we know it's Beck. We know it's Becky. All good.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
I'm glad we shared what we shared, and it may not be a popular opinion, and that's okay. No one's telling people what they should or what they can or can't do. We are saying what they should or shouldn't do.
Exactly. And I
based
think,
on our own lived experience.
Yeah.
Happy Friday.
Yes. Soulsy. Yes. But people have to understand something. I've been at this since 2003. I was a fierce advocate. I've seen many things go down. I've seen a change in this community. I've seen a lot of my friends commit suicide. I've lost over 5 people in the trans community that have committed suicide after transitioning. I've lost people that have had heart attacks. I've died because of high blood pressure from testosterone. I've lost people that have had strokes. I've had friends that were beautiful transitioners. Okay, they turned out to be the perfect transitioner, claimed they lost their soul and detransitioned. I hear things all the time. I've been at this for a very long time. I think I should have the ability to speak with authority without people trying to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about.
You should, but they wanted to qualify you. If you had a PhD, if you were a psychologist, psychiatrist,
Right. And I'm an occupational therapist, and I do have a very good psych.
Some people would not find that as being the qualifications that they're looking for.
So they're looking for somebody who
they're looking for someone
that goes on a weekend course and they're deemed a gender specialist.
No. They're looking for a PhD, a person
but that's not who gives out the ham.
I know,
yeah.
But
Yeah.
But see, this is where we had this issue with the whole fallen angels thing. What we did the video where we come across angry, and we can't do that. We have to come across compassionate and loving. And it doesn't matter if people are offensive towards us or if they're angry about us and stuff. I think we need to really, in order for us to engage with people and not to have their defenses go up when they're throwing punches at us, we should just, tone it down so that we're not so come across so combative.
I'm Cuban. This is how I am, so I'm sorry.
Well, I have the same problem.
Yeah. So let's see. We got Tracy. Hey, Tracy. My ego's name is Becky, but who I am, only Father knows. My name is, and I won't know it until I am in Christ. That's right. That's
because we are not. Whoa. Thank you.
Insanity. I believe your intentions are good and have a genuine desire to help.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I do. It's like I've said, I've been in this for so long, and I've seen so many people just head south, and it's like, if I could help one person, then, I'm doing what I'm set out to do. I'm passionate. I'm Cuban. This is what, when I, you know, it's like telling a scorpion not to be a scorpion, you know, it is what it is, you know, and that's fine. I mean, and you get passionate at times too on certain things, and it is what it is.
But I know that that's not the right way to deal with.
Who knows what the right or wrong way is? I mean, everybody has a different way of doing it.
To do it in a way that doesn't offend others.
Well, if others would not offend and others wouldn't get, I mean, that chat room was pretty offensive, you know, even before. It was,
but even before that doesn't give me a license to be equally offensive back.
I don't think I was offensive. I think I was passionate. I think I was determined to speak up and put the facts out there. You know, I didn't call anybody any names. I wasn't, you know, I was just stating the truth and the facts the way I see it.
No, we're very, very much, you know, focused on what we have our message is about. And unfortunately, the trans community does not find that to be something that they would want to support.
Hug it out. Yeah. But they want us back with some psychologists, and it brings back memory when we were at CNN.
Yeah.
You know, that psychology, because again, it's like, if people only knew what is going on behind closed doors, there is an agenda that's being created. And mark my words, it will be discovered, because what goes up must come down, and people will start. I mean, already there are people, there are parents, there are groups of women that are just tired of the whole concept of what's going on.
Well, when we heard what we heard from a friend of ours here, said that she was kicked out of a women's shelter by a trans woman.
Because the trans woman was calling her transphobic.
No, because she wanted to sleep next to them. Remember?
Yeah, and then she was called transphobic, and they kicked her out because of that.
Yeah, all because of that.
Yeah, so enough is enough. I mean, I've got two reasons to be passionate. Number one, because I've dealt with this since 2003. Number two, I was born female, and it upsets me to see.
Don't let the beard fool you.
Yeah.
This beard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it upsets me because I am a woman, and I see what's being done to women, and I will not allow it. As long as I have breath in my lungs and in my body, my heart is pumping, I will not allow it.
Sandrine says, I am likely to be the co-host you may be chatting with in part due.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it's, you know, I don't have any ill intentions. I just want people to be well informed. I want the other voice to be heard. The other voices are being shut down, and that's not right. You know,
they are, but they were heard today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were.
So Girl with No Name Spooner says, Selena, if it's not too rude, and it's not, nothing's rude. Where are you from? I don't know. Where am I from? If you don't mind me asking. Well, I was originally born in Orange County in Santa Ana, California. And pretty much kind of grew up there until I was like, you know, left for college. And then I moved out to Nashville for like 4 or 5 years, and lived in Minnesota for 10 years, moved back to Nashville. That's when I transitioned, moved back to Minnesota. And then I met Mark, and then we moved to New Mexico. But yeah, originally from Southern California. So grew up 5 minutes from the beach, 10 minutes from the beach. I love you too. I can see the love between you two. It's refreshing to see love. I love him so much. He's awesome.
I just can't help it. I'm Cuban.
I try to get him to tone down. So
I can't sometimes. If I'm passionate about something, it's like,
I know.
And then that gym guy just rubbed me the wrong way.
He was spouting the trans line.
I know, and it's like, dude, you're a host. You're supposed to be neutral.
You're supposed to be.
And he wasn't.
He said that Kyle sometimes is the agreeing one, and then the other one plays the devil's advocate.
Right,
so that's how the show's set up.
Yeah.
But Jim obviously had a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, I could sense it from word go. From the moment you were still getting ready and you sat there, I was just like, you know. But yeah. So,
I lived in Minnesota. It's a beautiful place in the summer, but wintertime comes around, it's not that great, right? For those that have lived there, unless you love the winter. My dad's family is from Fresno. All right. Okay.
So Island, who is it that he's going to be co-hosting?
Isandring.
The one that did the super chat?
She gave us a super chat.
So
Isandring person.
Isandring, what are you, you're not, she's not the psychologist, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. So what was your take on what you saw today? What was your, if you don't mind me asking? I keep having to remember how no action, but yes. What was your take on, you know, is this whole, I mean, and there's a lot of pushback now, because for the longest time, this PC thing, you know, parents were really being concerned, and they were just kind of like trusting the therapist, trusting the system, you know, giving their kids these blockers. There's a lot of parents now that are very concerned, you know, and they're realizing that this may not be the answer. And my whole concept is, what other mental or medical condition is led by the patient, is led by subjective finding? There is not one single objective testing that tells a person, yes, you're born in the wrong body. People's chromosome can be tested to see if they're intersex, but this whole concept that someone is born wrong because they have a girl brain and a boy body, there's nothing to prove that. So we're giving kids dangerous drugs to accommodate something that could be outgrown when they hit puberty, and all because the boy was gay or the little girl was a lesbian, or they just had a different way of expressing themselves. We're telling people that they should medicalize themselves when they find there's something wrong with them. And the whole thing about the leg, oh, there's nothing wrong with cutting your leg. I'm like,
I couldn't believe that.
I'm like, dude, are you for real?
Well, if they don't want the leg, then it's okay for them not to have it. It's like, whoa, really?
See, she says, my take is you have genuine concern about current trends.
We
do. I mean, it's like no one's asking the important questions. People are just agreeing with this. You know, it's like, oh, okay, if they're happy. And that was his main thing. Well, they're happy. Well, you know, pedophiles are happy when they're having sex with children. So
what are we going to do?
So we're going to allow pedophiles come in as well? I mean, because that's next. They'll be the next LGBTQP.
That's what we said.
You know, and we've got to be careful. We have got to hold down some sort of sanity in this insane world that we're living in.
I know. It's true. It's true.
And so, I mean, I get passionate because it's like, oh my God, is nobody else seeing this? You know?
Well, when you have a person saying what they're saying about, you know, that it's okay to remove
your, and it's like, if a doctor,
leg if they wanted it,
if a doctor seems to think that that's okay.
I'm just,
I'm reading what Highland.
And because of historic prejudice, people don't tend to take it well if someone raises concern.
Exactly. And then you have the mob mentality, or the hive mentality? Hive mind mentality, where everybody just wants to, because that's what transgender individuals are used to. Look at that video we watched the other day of the transgender female at the game shop who she thought the guy was misgendering her. And the guy goes, you guys, or something like that. And they flew their lid.
Oh yeah,
you know, I'm going to
kicking things down.
And that's the mentality.
Telling me I'm a ma'am. You know,
yeah, that's the mentality that we have in the transgender community. And they call you transphobe, and they call you hater, and they try to demonize you, and they try to dox you, and they try to silence you. And I say, enough is enough. Someone's got to speak up and you know, be the voice of reason.
Danny Flo joins us, says, you both are awesome. Thank you for tonight.
Oh, thank you, Danny. It was our pleasure.
Thank you for watching.
I'm sure my blood pressure went up some, but you know.
I wanted you just to like.
Well, I just don't like to be silenced. And I felt that's what Jim was trying to do.
I do find it, as Sandrine says, concerning that studies show the suicide rate doesn't significantly improve post-transition.
It actually, I have research information that says that it goes up, actually.
The Karolinska Institute has a study that they did in Europe that confirms what we're talking about.
Yeah, because people don't realize, once you get to the end of the road, you know, you're looking at the rainbow, and you reach the rainbow, and you realize that there's not a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow, then there's nothing else for them to do. So now they have to really face the real problems. And because they're on hormones, estrogen tends to make people suicidal in men's biology, because they get very depressed and suicidal. So, you know, there's a concern, and the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies aren't looking at these concerns. And there needs to be a flag, you know, what is it? A red flag waved.
You're good people, says Jim Majors. No argument there. And your heart is in the right place. Beyond that, we may disagree, but the conversation needs to happen.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, it does.
What type of beverage are you drinking?
Water. Agua.
Just
that's all.
H2O.
H2O.
From our faucet.
Yeah.
People don't realize that when they have issues with others, the issue is really about themselves.
And your heart isn't. Okay.
Ascending says, I am 100% with you concerning children.
Yeah.
I didn't like how they were telling, you know, they were assuming that we were like just using the kid issue as if it's something that we like wanted to just like hijack in order to make our anti-trans point. And
it's the other way around, is the kid issues have been used to move the trans issue.
And this is what we were trying to point out.
And you know, was it Isendring? You say that you concern the children. Children's a massive concern, but besides children, there are individuals, grown adults, that all of a sudden decide, because everybody's doing this. You know, it's like their consciousness. It's almost like a virus that spreads. So you have these grown men that are cross-dressers. They get on these forums and these websites, and they start talking to each other, and they want to transition, and they're like all seeing these young ones doing it, and they want to do it. But the problem is, these men are married with children. They created a life for themselves, and they created a life for these little beings and their wife. And all of a sudden, they're going to poop on that life because they want to be happy. You know, well, you should have thought of that before you got married and had kids. And, you know, and I know you feel that way too.
I do, but,
you know,
I'm not going to just throw carte blanche on that.
No, I know. But I look at the kids and I look at the ex-wives that have had to deal with this. Nobody cares about them. When you went to therapy, your therapist didn't care about bringing in your wife and your kids.
I was like blown away by what Jim was saying. Oh, yes, they have lots of gender counseling, and they bring in this and that and their other loved ones. And it's like no, they don't. They would rather the spouse not be there.
We read a book on somebody also that was telling their story. And a lot of the trans people, they don't bring their families in. All they care about is the happiness of the individual.
They told me, I said, you know, are we going to have a time where we're going to have my then wife come in? And they're like, oh, no, we just want to deal with this with you. This is your issue. This is about your contentment.
Yeah, your happiness.
Not about your spouse's. And almost like, wow.
Yeah, and that's what happens. And then he's talking about a bunch of therapy. You're lucky if you get 2 sessions. And now there's not even any gatekeepers. You don't need a letter from a therapist anymore to get your hormones and get things started.
No,
they've removed all that. The what is it? The
DSM-5.
No, the W path. They've removed all this stuff. They're making it so easy. This is politically driven. There's money behind this movement.
There is.
You know, when you're paying $45,000 for a year of supply of that blocker. You know, there's money. There's money. So people have to ask these questions, and they have to be honest. And the trans community can get as vocal as they're getting, and trying to silence people. You know why they're doing it? Because they want to continue their behavior. I mean, what did Jim say? You want to remove the right for people to do that? It's like, I'm not saying to remove the right, but I'm just saying to make it harder. Make it harder for people to do this. This is life changing. This is not like going in and putting a pair of blue contacts.
I would say put the fences back up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, honestly.
That's awesome.
Fences back up.
That's awesome, Becky. You'll definitely feel a difference. The Harry Benjamin standard of care were for a reason. Exactly. Absolutely. And they
Harry
removed
Benjamin had a very high criteria for transitioning. You know, Harry Benjamin believed that if they weren't going to be able to live real life successfully and not be offensive to people, that he was not going to transition them.
I mean, the majority of people under the Harry Benjamin standards would not be able to transition. And that would probably include people that are married with kids, stuff like that. He was looking at the young, like the teenager ones that were very feminine looking and things of that nature.
But then they're saying that would be like trying to silence them, and
of course they're going to say that. Of course they're going to say that. But the majority of people that transition have no business doing that because they'll never have a happy transition life. And those are the ones that commit suicide because they look in the mirror after they've done their FFS, after they've done their SRS, and they still see a man in the mirror.
George S. Burrell was a surgeon that did lots of SRS surgeries back in the 60s, and he used to do them out of Monaco in Morocco, in Northern Africa. And he stated that there is no way that you can make a man into a woman. You know, you can feminize that genital to appear more feminine.
Exactly.
And the rest is
in their heads,
in the patient's head.
Right.
So that is how he felt about it. He never ever said that. That's why it's called sex reassignment. You know, they call it gender confirmation now.
Yeah, because they want to change the wording to everything.
They can't even call it sex change surgery because it's not.
It's not. It doesn't change your sex. Even Steve agreed with us with that, you know, and it's like, you can't change your sex no matter how manly I look, no matter how, you know, whatever. I'm not, you know, and it took me a few years. I mean, because when I first transitioned, I wouldn't have anybody tell me anything otherwise. Yeah. I mean, I stood there in front of Maury Povich and told him I'm more of a man than I ever know back then, you know. But after the years passed by, I'm like, who am I kidding? You know, and it's crazy. And so, I mean, I said, I tried really hard to watch it. It was painful. I'm sorry. These divisions are still here. We have bigger problems. Much love. We do have bigger problems.
And that's the thing. We thought we were going to talk about other things. I didn't know it was going to be just 101 show.
I know. I thought we were going to talk about the spirituality and all the different things that we talk about. But obviously, it's a topic that, you know,
it's very polarizing.
Yeah.
Sandring said the fact that the only perceived treatment for gender dysphoria is transition is tragic.
And that's what we're trying to prove. And that's what we're trying to say, that people need to deal with their mental issues, with their problems. Why do you feel that you're born wrong? Because there's nothing wrong with your genitals. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the body. It's the wrong is the thinking, the way they think. They think they're born wrong. Anorexics aren't starved even further, like I mentioned. They try to find out what's going on because there's something lurking within. You know, to tell me that a little boy that's feminine, and he's trying to tell that, oh, you go to endocrinologists and they see that their testosterone levels are low. Oh, so now because you have your testosterone level low, that means you're a woman?
No.
You know, but that's what he was trying to.
I was like, what?
What? So that's why I was going, this guy's just going off.
What does testosterone level in a female have to do with her being a female? Yeah. I mean, if she has high testosterone, she has high testosterone for a female. Yeah. It could be PCOS. Yes. It could be, you know, any kind of androgen, related issue.
But that doesn't mean that people should change their sex.
Like, just because a man has more estrogen going on, it doesn't mean that they're a woman. It's like, you know, there's lots of men in their 50s that have more estrogen
than their wife.
Women do.
They're overweight.
They have man boobs.
They're overweight. They have man breasts. You know, because they have estrogen dominance. So does that mean we're going to turn them into a woman now? You know, so what are the guidelines? Just because a little boy likes to play with Barbies and he's very soft spoken and feminine, does that mean we're going to make that little boy a girl? And that was the point and it's like nothing that I would say would convince Jim. He was like, everything was like, no. And that's, you know, there was an ulterior motive. And I knew that from word go. That's why I asked him at the end there, do you have somebody in your life that's transgender? Yeah. And sure enough, it was his sound.
Girl with no name spooner asks, so could it be a gene or something more sinister on the part of the ruler of this construct?
I don't think that there is a gene because there's no gender gene. I mean, you've got XX, you have what they call an SRY gene. There hasn't been any inclusive studies whatsoever that prove that. I even tried saying that the brains were sex, and that's impossible.
The BSTH.
Yeah. That test study
back in the 90s
proved to be bogus. Brains are not sexed. You know, you grow.
They're malleable.
Yeah, they change with your environment. Formable. if you have a mother from the moment that child's in the womb,
constructs.
And the mother wants a girl, and all of a sudden, she's thinking that she's carrying a girl, and she keeps thinking they're a girl, and all of a sudden, have a boy, and then children's read cues very well when they're little. They're very malleable at that time.
Yeah.
If they have a little sister and they see that sister's getting more attention, they're going to want to be like their sister, because the sister's getting more attention. They're loved more. So it's like, I want to be like my sister.
But, you said the whole Bruce Jenner, Caitlyn Jenner thing. And there was a trans woman in there that was really offended and said, I didn't transition when I was 15 because, I didn't feel like I could come out. And, now that I can, now that I have. And
that's what they're going to tell you. But the majority of these people, somebody who was it Derek? No, was it Derek? It was somebody that we spoke to said that they knew Bruce Jenner. And
Derek.
And that there was no way in God's world. That was a man's man. I'm sorry. That's not something you could hide, because you can't, it's like little boys are really feminine. They have a feminine nature, but some of these men that they were in the Marine, they were in the Army, they're like man's man. There's no question. And all of a sudden, from one day to the next, someone's messing with people's minds. That's what's happening.
Well, you look at your friend who was a Green Beret, was in the Army, and was a man's man.
Oh, I know. And all of a sudden, they
what's the name? What's her name?
Beck. Kristen Beck.
Kristen Beck. Yeah. So a lack of feeling unconditional love, Emily Shane says.
It's not about unconditional love. You can love a person for who they are.
As far as why they feel uncomfortable in their gender.
Could be because a lot of kids, they feel that their siblings are getting more love, so they want to be like the sibling. A lot of times parents don't realize this, but they do it to their own kids. They wanted a little girl, but they got a little boy. So now they're hearing this. I mean, before there was like 1 or 2 kids. Now they're everywhere.
There's like a 700% increase in Great Britain alone. As Sandring says, in no other area of psychology do we entertain delusions. Not all trans individuals are necessarily suffering from delusions, though. The way some describe being trans comes damn close.
Exactly. And that's where we need to really address the real issues, which is either sexual abuse, shame from being gay, body dysmorphia, chemical imbalance, all sorts of different things that are not being looked at. People are just being transitioned like crazy. It's just here you go, here you go. No, there's not enough studies. These kids are being transitioned. When the studies really start to take place and they start to realize, oh my God, what have we done with people? This is going to be the biggest tragedy that human beings have ever seen.
Unconditional love, says Emily, is energy. I could feel the difference when I was little.
Exactly. And so you want to be loved. And then you see that your sibling is being loved more and the sibling is a girl, so you want to be a girl. Or you're a boy that's sensitive and you're playing around with the boys. You don't feel right because the boys are rough and tough and you don't fit in. So you fit in with a girl. So you're like, well, I should be a girl. I mean, we look at different scenarios, but the bottom line is there's absolutely nothing biological wrong with people. They might have a little bit of hormonal imbalance. Men might have a little bit more estrogen. Women these days might have a little bit more testosterone. That doesn't mean they're born wrong.
And, there is something to be said about gender expression. We are all for gender expression.
Please.
People want to wear, be more feminine, be more masculine. That is their choice.
Yes.
And you know what? It's society's choice.
I was trying to say that.
Whether they want to see them as they choose to see them or if they don't. And that's not society's
burden to bear.
Burden to make them see something that they can't.
Transgenderism is certainly a mental disorder with very few treatment options. It's a horrible condition that causes a huge amount of genuine pain. I want to see more research into possible causes. Exactly. Instead of just freight train, just everybody get on it. And if the train wrecks, well, hey, the doctors don't care. The pharmaceutical companies don't care.
The way that Jim was painting the picture almost seemed like the doctors were like this sympathetic, wonderful, compassionate group of people that were just really looking out for the genuine good.
And they're not. They're getting a kickback.
They don't care.
They
don't care.
We've had doctors that we've actually had on the show before that were being forced to transition people, and they were like questioning it, and they were being reprimanded for questioning, and so they started to speak out. There's a lot of we've read an article and also listened to a podcast where this individual who has her own practice who's trying to create another avenue, except transition, like another way of dealing with gender dysphoria, that it's not snip, cut, and do all this stuff, you know?
Exactly.
But,
and, you know, I mean, if men want to feminize more, there are natural herbal ways of doing that. So if you want to express your gender in a more feminine manner, then those are avenues that you can explore that are safer, right?
And Girl with No Name said, I think it's part of the elite's agenda and keeping us divided. Well, of course. I mean, if you guys start watching television and all these, what is that? The one where Robin Williams played Mrs. Doubtfire, was it? And all these men wearing Tootsie and wearing dresses. This agenda, this, you know, kind of brainwashing and programming has been going on for the longest time. You think that this thing, all of a sudden, all these young girls that are teenagers that are having what they call rapid onset gender dysphoria, it's just happening for the heck of it? They have neurological impairment. The majority of them are autistic. You think that there's just a coincidence that all of a sudden this is happening when there's no record? And that's why I was trying to say 30 years ago, even 100 years ago, there was no record of any kids claiming they were born wrong, or no one was committing suicide because of it.
Emily says, we need to understand with love, not expectations of what we think the other person should be, because then we can truly not understand what they're going through. And Sandrine says, I have no issues with adults choosing to transition. That is their choice. As long as the consequences and current life circumstances are thoroughly explored and considered.
Right. You know, when I look at some individuals that are in their late 50s and 60s that put themselves in danger, they go under the knife, and usually the older ones are the ones that want to get the SRS for some weird reason. And
we spoke to Shelby, and Shelby said, and Shelby's an older transitioner, said, if I don't get SRS, then my mom will never see me as a woman. Right.
So people are being pushed, and we're looking at 50 and 60-year-olds, and they go through their surgery. I have personal friends that have had heart attack. Rachel, several heart attacks, have gone to mental institutions after the surgery. I tried talking her out of it. There was no talking her out of it. She got mad at me and ended up having health issues, almost died from a heart attack, because when you're a man, you can't mess with your endocrine system. Man needs testosterone. And as man age, they need that testosterone for their health. If their man has more estradiol in their body than they need it, you have a lot of health issues. And then these individuals are ending up getting surgeries at such later time in life, they're putting themselves in danger. So doctors are not following their oath, that hypocrite oath that they do of doing no harm. They're doing harm. They're doing lots of harm. You know,
people are in trouble, and they're running to the excuse of gender dysphoria as their answer. And, you know, I remember we were watching an FTM talk about how they felt like they were getting diagnosed for being, what was it? They were OCD or something. Remember a younger transitioner said, oh, I finally have a diagnosis.
Yeah, the one that has that show.
Yeah, he has a show on YouTube. And he's like, you know, oh, so they live to get like this validation from the medical community, like me. Like I got the gender dysphoria thing,
and you're like, oh, yes. Yeah.
That's what I was
So Tracy, what do you mean by, yes, accept people for who they are? Because people for who they are, if they're a man that is very feminine, people need to accept that. Or should we tell people, you're a feminine man, so you need to be a woman? Go ahead, have hormones and have surgery. This is what this trans agenda is doing to people. People all of a sudden find a reason why they are the way they are. Like when somebody told me, hey, you're an FTM. And I was like, what is that? And they explained to me. And I was in Key West having a ceremony
6 months later
with my ex-wife back then. And it wasn't legal to get married, but we had a little ceremony. 6 months later, I did this because now I had validation for liking women, you know? And it's like, whoa, okay, I don't have to be shamed anymore. So instead of people accepting, instead of my mom shaming me for being a more masculine female and for liking female, I was ridiculed all my life. So people that are ridiculed all their life, they find this to be a solution, and it's a false solution, in my opinion.
She said at home asks, was it John Money who coined the term gender dysphoria? I'm not sure. There was
somebody who coined it, and I don't remember. Remember, we talked about it, that they put everything in the umbrella.
We've done a show.
We've done a show about that. But, you know, it's like, I just want people to be able to communicate and talk about these things without getting so angry at one another, without trying to silence people, without name calling them. And that's what I find all the time. Whenever I try to open up and try to bring in some voice of reason when somebody that I feel that I have, you know, the ability to talk about it because of my background, because of the years I've been in this community, because the amount of transgender people that I've interviewed, that I've known, because of the healthcare providers that I've also interviewed regarding it, the research that I've done, I should have a voice, and I should not be called transphobe, and I should not be shut down for expressing my opinion.
Oh yeah, it got really crazy.
I mean, we could disagree to agree to disagree, but be respectful. You know, don't call me names. Don't try to, you know, villainize me like I'm.
They said that we were like that they couldn't believe that we were a trans couple actually espousing views of the Republican and
then they try to put the whole religious thing when I'm not.
It's like we're not even.
Yeah,
we're not even that, you know. It's like we have our own opinions. I tell you, estrogen makes you crazy sometimes.
Yeah, it does. It does, because it messes with the receptors in the brain. I mean, that's why when women, I mean, I remember my PMSs were terrible, horrible, you know, because it does that particular thing.
Tracy was like, both sexes produce. Oh wait, girl with no name said, I didn't realize that us females actually have testosterone also.
We do.
Correct?
Yes. Not as much as males do, but it also depends. If you have what they call PCOS, your ovaries produce androgen. There's a lot of women, and he was talking about the beard. We've seen pictures of women that have never taken a testosterone shot in their life.
He assumes that just because you're on T,
that
it's growing, and that when you stop,
go
it'll
away. There are guys that can't hardly grow a beard that are trans guys.
I know.
You know, and there are women who have PCOS that have this massive beard without taking anything because the production of androgen from their ovaries.
She said at home, I called estrogen as the disease to please, LOL, as it decreases the less I care who I please.
That's right.
Said, LOL, it's a little odd to see my post not being blue. I lose track of my posts, LOL. Oh my gosh.
So
Hopi NG.
Hey, Hopi. How you doing?
Love you, Catherine. Hi, Cummings family.
Yes.
Hello.
Use the modding.
Uses to modding. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because she's used to being But yeah, it's heartbreaking, you know, to see such a topic that is only allowed to be viewed one particular way, you know. And it's like people that don't. And there's many trans people that don't ride the bandwagon of the trans agenda,
right? Because
they've like learned that, hey, this whole thing of people pushing their ideals on everyone, forcing people to call them by the pronouns that they want, even though they don't see that. You know, I think if the person presents themselves in a way that you see it, you know, it's like you've never had a problem. People always see you as such because of the energy that you have. I've never had a problem, but we see some trans people out there that they demand it. They demand it. It's like the one in the game shop. I'm sorry, but that person doesn't look anywhere near a woman or a female or have any type of anything for them to, you know, if somebody would make a mistake or don't know they're trans and they call them sir, and then they go ape bat, you know.
Danny Flo, he was in the NonSequitir chat room. Yes, I felt Jim wasn't paying attention to what you were trying to say.
I know.
Instead, he was arguing against things that you never even said.
I know. And that's what happens with a lot of the people in the trans community, and Jim is biased because he's got an aunt that is transgender. So right away he's on the defense. And when people are on the defense, they don't listen. They're just attacking. And I felt that, and I'm an empath.
I know.
So that's why
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
That's why I got the way that I got.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't.
And I'm used.
That I didn't.
I've had years of being attacked by the trans community because once I stopped waving the trans flag, I was a fierce advocate before. I mean, if you guys look through my playlist here and you see trans-related talk show and documentaries, you'll see how much of a flag I waved back in the day. As soon as I started changing my tune, I became the worst person in the world for these people. But before I was their hero. Because before anybody was talking about this stuff, I was the one waving that flag. You know, and I put my life and the life of my ex-wife in danger. My business could have been blown up back in the day because people weren't as accepting as they are nowadays.
So Jason says, hi there, people.
Hey, Catherine.
Girl with no name says, Lena, can I say I love the lighter hair? Blonde looks good on you.
Yeah. That's my favorite. That's my favorite too.
People don't hear when in defense.
Yes, totally.
And he wasn't hearing.
He wasn't. He was just
like, well, this is what they said, and this is what, you know, and it's like,
you can see it in his face.
What facts do you have, and what proof do you have? And
exactly.
It's like, you know, you're just basing it on junk opinion, and you know, and then so when he said that, he was adding fuel to the live chat fire.
And as a host, I don't believe that he.
And that was, I don't know if you know him, is Sandrine, but that was wrong. I just think that a host should be a bit more impartial and non-biased.
I mean, first of all, we didn't even know what we were going to talk about.
We didn't.
They didn't. Like usually when I have guests on the show, I would more or less tell them what they're talking about, what we're talking about, and make them feel at ease. It was like, you know, but I was like, I'm used to it. You know, I went in the lion's cage. You know, I felt Steve was very amicable, very fair, very neutral. He, you know, he had some sense. Like even with the thing about cutting the leg, he goes, I'm sorry. And he even had sense to say sex cannot be changed. Yeah. You know, Jim was like, for a moment there, I'm going, Jim, are you thinking of transitioning?
I know you mentioned.
I was just getting ready to ask him that because it was like.
And then Sandrine said, the whole misgendering thing is ridiculous. Most people aren't making conscious decisions to use one pronoun or another. It's subconscious. Yeah. So to apply that pronoun, that applies.
Yeah, and then they have they really have this like really conniption fit tantrums, you know, and it's like not everyone's gonna see you. And that's okay. I mean, do you need validation or do you just need to live your life? And that's what I see in this community. They thrive on the need to be validated. Posting pictures all over the place, asking, how do I look? How did this dress look? How did my nails look? And it's like, you know, I've been with women all of my life since I was 13 years old. Typical women don't act like that. You know, there's just such a difference between trans women and genetic women or NATO women. And it's like, so it's like if trans women learn to be a little bit more graceful, they learn to be a little bit more understanding and learn how to coexist with the world, they wouldn't have the pushback that they're getting from people because they're demanding it. And then what's happening is that they're showing their true nature, which is like that guy, that transgender person in the game room.
Yeah.
Let's take it outside. What woman would do that?
Or when what's her name did what they did to
Hey Catherine, love to you too. Yes, what they did what's her name?
I'm gonna take you outside and beat you. Yeah. You know, it's like you can't
do that.
The man out of the man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just, you know, there's certain things that Mark and I know that are just how they are.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we go outside and I have to help Mark down the stairs because it's slippery. And you know,
Mark and Linda, you guys rock like a great big mountain.
That's awesome.
And it was that
Lincoln Murphy.
Thank you, Lincoln. Thank
you know, and there's certain things that Mark will never, you know, be the stereotype of a man.
No, I mean,
because Mark was born a female.
And so it took me a few years to understand that when I was relating with guys in the locker room and they would talk a certain way. And I was just like, I can't be part of this conversation. You know, I can't, you know, just because I look like this, you know, deep down inside, I have a very nurturing, loving, gentle nature, you know, and I was raised a female. So you can't just take those things completely out of your life and just say, you know, now I'm this. No, I'm a two-spirit person. I am me. You know, I'm some sort of hybrid. A man I am not. You know, and you come to terms with that. And you don't force people to see you a certain way when people know there's just no way of changing sex. It's not rocket science. I mean, it really isn't, you know?
We're not. Girl with no name is leaving us.
Okay. So thank you so much. Be with
the girls.
Okay. Have a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Becky.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. As Sandrine said, trans women are trying very hard to conform to a stereotype. Warning, broad sweeping statements ahead. I obviously know there are exceptions to generalizations.
Right. And that's the problem. And it's like, they want to so badly to fit to the stereotypical role, but that's because for whatever reason, they didn't fit in the stereotypical role as a guy, right? Whether they didn't fit it when they were a young kid, they didn't fit it when they were an adult. They felt like a failure as a man. So in their mind, in this neurologically impaired mind, the failure of a man means they have to be a woman. So now they have to like go all out and be all the, you know, that stereotypical woman. And what happens with that is that they have a struggle.
But it's not just that they want to be the stereotypical woman. They believe that they can be, since they appreciate femininity and being a woman more, then they feel like they can be a better
version. We've heard that too.
We heard that from a number of trans women.
Is like, we're better female.
Literally said, I can do female better than you. And it's like, it's not about doing that makes one a female.
Hello, Joshua.
It's about being, you know, and there's nothing that you have to do in order to be.
Exactly. You either are or you're not. When I see individuals that go so out of the way to try to create something so badly, you know, that they can't walk out of the house without makeup. They can't walk out of the house without this, that, and the other. Everything revolves on their look in the mirror. And I have to question that. It's like, gosh, being with women since I was 13, we went to the store. We didn't put makeup on. We just went. And some of them were really butchy women and some of them weren't so butchy. You know, life does not revolve around the mirror unless you're a trans woman, you know?
And you're looking at 40, 50 somethings, 60 somethings. I mean, there's this person that we know is in their 70s. And I swear they spend most of their day in front of a mirror taking multiple pictures. And I mean, it's like a typical 70-year-old woman is not taking pictures in the mirror. You know, a typical 40-year-old woman is not taking pictures in the mirror.
Unless they have issues, and there are women.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, you know, baby pictures, children, grandchildren, with their husband.
But, you know, a married woman typically don't take pictures of themselves and spread it all over social media. That's not a thing that a married woman does. They take a picture with her grandkid, with her husband, with her kids. You know, very few. I mean, far between you but it's like this self-centered focus. It's an obsession with self. Like I mentioned, the autogynephilia, they fall in love with the creation that they're creating. And boy, oh boy, those are the ones that get really upset because you mention anything about their creation. And it's like the man in them comes out and they're going to attack. How dare you attack to them, their girlfriend, because they become their own girlfriends. You know, it's a really bizarre thing, and people really need to study this. So when I'm trying to talk to Jim and he's like trying to pretend like he knows what he's talking about, and it's like, no, Jim, you know, I'm sorry, you do not know what you're talking about.
There was a trans woman. She moved from Dallas to Los Angeles. She was interviewed by a natal female, and she asked her, so, can you give us a little bit of the modeling thing that you do? And she's like, well, I need a bikini. I need to.
Or be without my clothes.
Be without clothes. And it was like, gosh, you know, so you have to like.
Well, because it's very sexualized and they're always taking pictures in front of the mirror 5 years later, and they continue to do the same thing with a little hip hike and the little look. And it's like, how long are you going to be doing this? How long are you going to be stuck in this teenage me, I stage? You know, it's like there's no functionality. There's so much narcissism involved in this transgender ideology, you know, and that's,
yeah. Jashira joined us earlier.
Hey,
she
Jashira.
says, hi, everyone. And then she writes,
halfway through.
I get what you're saying, over-identify with the physical only.
Exactly.
And that's an epidemic in the trans community.
And the whole
doesn't matter
world,
if you're
though,
young or old.
People are like worried about breast size, nose, the way their nose look, all these surgeries. We are getting a bunch of people in this society, this day and age, that are so self-consuming, so narcissistic, and rely their life only on their happiness. And you can't live life based on your own happiness, because you know what? There's other people around you. You've got kids, you got mother, you got father, you got friends. And if you only care about yourself, which is the biggest thing and the biggest problem that I see in the transgender community, is narcissistic, self-loving. They don't care about anything else but themselves. And that is wrong. So when I hear Jim about, well, people need to be happy. Yeah. And
in order to cut their body parts off?
Yeah, and in order to leave their loved ones, or in order to you know, mess the life of everybody else, all based on your happiness.
Marie Latella says, hey, gorgeous people, can you tell me what a natal woman is? That would be a biological woman born woman, female, born female. That's what we would define as a natal woman.
Because they call cis, and that's like disrespectful. There's no cis anything. It's a natal woman or a biologically born female. Now we're creating new words. You know, the trans community loves to create new words.
Darcel Versailles joins us. I find your views on this fascinating. I've heard of people like you, and it's cool to see you explaining the facts.
And that's what we aim to do, because there needs to be two sides, you know.
Sandring asks, well, she says, well, transsexual, she-male, etc., is highly sexualized generally.
It is. It's one of the biggest porn sold in the porn industry. Men fantasize. I mean, they have what they call the typical tranny chaser. And it's like have this massive fantasy with trans women. And now even trans guys are being fantasized. But all they use you for is a fetish. They use you and then they leave you and, you know, up to the next.
I mean, if there are men out there that are interested in trans women because they're sexually, you know, that's their preference, that's one thing. But that's not typically what happens. They
were not going to take you home to mama, and they know they can't have any kids with you. No. So, I mean.
Hopi and G, have you guys seen the new recruitment ads for British Army? It says that they want the me snowflake selfie generation, that they are people, they are what they want because they want self-oriented people.
That's pretty crazy.
Interesting.
Well, and that's when we talked about that there is something going on, an agenda. An MK Ultra, call it whatever. People think that is all conspiracy. But if you really search the information, it's out there, you know, and they don't even hide it.
Jim and KJ joined us.
Hey, Jim and KJ.
Just joined in, folks. Love y'all.
Love you too.
Love y'all.
Yes.
Sandrine says, I've not seen any substantial research that supports transition has any meaningful impact on life.
And that's what we're trying to tell Jim. You know, that's exactly... You know, that actually people become more suicidal. They become more depressed, more anxious after the fact.
We just watched a video. Carol Land has a channel on YouTube, and beautiful, beautiful young trans woman.
Yes.
I mean, suffering from depression, chopped off her hair, lives in isolation.
Couldn't get out of bed for the longest time.
We know trans women.
Had the surgery, everything. Yeah. But it's like, so you tell me you went through all this and you still, now you have worse depression?
Had SRS.
Yeah. This needs to be discussed. This needs to be out there. The fluff, the pushing of the agenda as like some happy road, that needs to stop.
Jashira says, I have a constant pile of teens at home. They need mentors. They are a wonderful bunch of teens, but not many positive leaders out there for them.
Exactly. It's really
sad. And there's lots of those teens
they are.
That are running to gender dysphoria for their validation of how they feel.
Exactly.
Just because they don't feel comfortable being women, they think that makes them men.
The men. And then they don't like their breasts. And, you know, there's a lot of women that didn't like their breasts when they were teens because it's awkward. They don't like guys looking at them. So, I mean, this stuff just needs to be like Islandring says, it needs to be investigated a heck of a lot more research, and not biased research. You have to be so careful. Any research that has anybody with an agenda behind it or want to prove something should not be allowed. This needs to come from a neutral party, somebody that has no interest in it, making sure it's not being paid by any political parties, because we know very well that peer reviews are skewed. It all depends who's funding things, who's wanting what results. So it's
as Sandrine says, that is why therapy with a therapist that has your best interest in mind is so important. And that is if you can find one.
Yeah, because the majority
that isn't sold out to the lobby.
Yeah.
You know, because there are many of these people that are basically in partnership with their local endocrinologist, and they work for each other, basically.
Yeah, it's become, you know, if you don't do what the rest of the pack does, they 8-ball you. You know, and I've had therapists write me.
There was one trans woman who actually shot
one of her therapists.
A therapist.
Because they wouldn't give them the letter. Yeah.
They wouldn't give them the letter. So they felt like they had to, right? Yeah. A cured patient is a lost customer.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I mean, it's like the only disorder that is led by the patient is transgender ideology or gender dysphoria, whatever else. I mean, there's no objective. There's not one single objective test to tell somebody you're born in the wrong body. There's not one.
There's lots of subjective tests.
They give you questioning, and you know, you go in there, you know exactly what you have to say. I mean, and then these kids are being told, tell your parents you're going to commit suicide. That's your card in. They'll get your hormones if you tell them you're going to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Because the worst offender is the internet. You know, that's like they talk. You get the older trans people telling the young people, telling young people what to do, even giving them hormones behind their parents' backs.
I was being given all kinds of advice.
Yeah, I'm sure you were.
You know, there were tranny chasers out there that were saying, "Oh yes, this is the dosage that you need to be on, and these are the drugs that you need, and this is where you need to go." And you know, it's like, so Darcel says, I agree. Double-blind studies and actual peer review with a large sample size. Exactly. But you know what? That will never happen. Ever.
But it needs it, because they can't just be giving people medication.
It won't.
Carte blanche, you know,
it's crazy. Because that doesn't put the profit in their hands.
Yeah, because that's it's crazy. So scrub true to cures to go out of business. Misery maintains is more profitable. A forever life patient with hormones, you know, forever, that type of stuff, going in for blood work every 6 months, because hormones cause health issues. So you have to have blood work done to make sure that everything is okay, that you're not developing a blood clot, that you're not developing high blood pressure, that, you know, all the slew, cancers. So they're giving people dangerous drugs, and you have to get tested every 6 months to justify what? Because sex cannot be changed.
I know. Scrub gave us a very nice compliment, said, well, let me be the first to say that you, Cummings, are a true beacon of light for many communities. Love you both.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Scrub. You know, it was like, I just felt very attacked and very like not, you know, it's like you asked us to be on the show and then not to be welcoming and to be,
well,
you know, it's
you know, we didn't get the original guy who brought us on.
Exactly.
You know, it was like last minute. They brought in Jim.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, it might have gone differently.
I think so.
Had Kyle been there, you know, but Jim was very much, might as well have had the gingerbread man there, right? You could have just had the guy, anybody who was like pro-trans in there, you know, because, you know, there was so much vitriol in that live chat.
You know.
I mean, it was like, you people, you're so hateful.
It's like, that's a typical line, hateful.
You're so condemning.
There was no hate. It was just facts being brought on the table, our opinion, what we believe. I mean, I've transitioned since 2003. You know, that's a long time. That's 16 years. Okay. I think I kind of know, and not just because of my own history, but because of the work that I've done for the community, because I am a medical professional, because I do a lot of research and study, and I do see what happens to trans people after the years of transitioning, because I have lost friends, suicide, heart attacks, strokes.
Premature aging is a thing among
Hello,
trans
James
women
Orkut.
and
Thank you for joining
men.
us. Yeah,
it is a thing.
Yeah, it is.
And, you know,
broken bones, ligament. Nobody.
You know, if they have to go to a convalescent recovery hospital or old age.
Imagine when people go to the hospital, just the hospital, get a checkup
or
anything.
And I got hurt.
Yeah, and they treat you like you're from another planet.
They do.
So imagine when you get older and you're not able to defend yourself. You're not able to really have the right mind, because by the time you get to be 60, if you've been on hormones from the time you're 20, trust me, your mind is not going to be a very sharp mind. To be mistreated in a nursing home, in a facility where they typically mistreat old people anyway. Imagine how you're going to be treated. These are things that trans people don't look at. They have no clue, because all they think about is that moment, the now, the fun they're having, you know, trying to like confuse the guy or cheat the guy knowing that they're trans, you know, being stealthy, you know, and then they wonder why many land on the transgender list of remembrance, because they get killed because they're lying to people. They're going to bed with people and people didn't know that they were a guy. You know, there's just so much immaturity in this whole concept. And that's why there needs to be a voice of reason. And I know we're going to get attacked, and I know we're going to be said all sorts of things, but someone's got to do it.
And, you know, there's lots of things to be said about what females go through, female violence, things that they're dealing with. And here we have 25 people that were killed because they were trans or whatever.
And they were prostituting themselves.
Most of them were trans women of color, who were putting themselves into situations where they were endangering their lives by prostituting themselves to men, you know, and then getting angry at them, and, you know, and it's like, you know, in the meanwhile, there's thousands of women getting killed
and murdered
every year. You know, and nobody wants to
and then women's
address that.
Women's spaces are being invaded, and women are being silenced defending trans women versus women. And then women are losing their ability to compete against other women because now they have to compete against trans women.
I mean, if you would have seen the image that podium had the winning trans woman on the top and the two smaller
little women,
female anatomies on the side.
Or Fallon Fox, who broke the skull of a woman during the competition or the fight, because Fallon Fox was born a male and had obviously more strength and almost killed the woman she fought.
And then the excuse is that they're taking copious amounts of estrogen that raise their estrogen level. That doesn't change their bone platelet size.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't change.
Hey, James,
body.
thank you for joining us. I'm 51. Did somebody ask his age?
You'll always have a friend in me, said Scrub.
Thank you, Scrub. Thank you so much.
Isandering says that is typical for a large gathering of people on the internet. Anonymity is not a good thing for humans.
No, it's not. Oh, and we have received emails. I mean, when we started, you know, trying to educate people about the use of blockers and how bad it was and all this stuff, the amount of hate mail.
You guys are.
You should hang yourself. You should cut.
Are giving advice to children to kill themselves. Remember?
Yeah, lies. I know all sorts of lies because they lie.
You know,
they lie. They lie out of their teeth. You know, it's really sad. So is this what it is? You both searching my I missed Darcel. I missed quite a bit of the show, but I'm glad you kept dropping the medical facts. Yeah.
And they said, "Where are you? Where's your proof?
Yeah,
you're coming across as, you know, transphobic. You know, it's like, you know, no one's trying to be transphobic. You know, we just are very, very passionate about this message, and no one's telling an adult what they need to do with their body, but we're just saying that if you ask us, we're going to have an opinion.
We're going to have an opinion. We're going to say, don't do it because it doesn't solve anything.
And
so James said, is this what it is? You both searching? My wife is a mess. Oh, I'm so sorry, James.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
She's the one with anorexia.
Yeah. Oh, we prayed for that day.
Emily says, millions are going missing. Where are they?
Experiments. People are either being used in pedophilia rings, or they're being used for experiment, mind control things. I mean, it's really sad. You know, it's.
Sandring says, I will say that one criticism level that I agree with is to have the studies on hand to cite, especially when talking what is considered taking a contrary view. Personal experience is fine only to justify, but we weren't told that this show was all about trans.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I mentioned to you, you know, hey, maybe we should look over this one article.
And I did, and I had notes. You know, I had a bunch of notes right here written up, but you know.
But it was like we didn't know. We thought they were just going to talk about what we believed in or what our latest views were, you know, because.
And what I'm going to do is when we're done here, I'm going to go in the comments section. I'm going to put a bunch of the links of the research.
I saw that there were people that were trying to discredit us because we're truthers, because we're conspiracy theorists. They were saying it's like, you know, it's like, can people not believe in certain things about the government or the fact that we've been lied to and then not be, you know, labeled as like incompetent of giving
that's
factual advice.
That's another ploy the trans community uses. They try to discredit. They discredit the ones that talked about autogonophilia. They went after his family. And what was it, Dr. Bobat? No, what was the doctor's name? Dr. Blanchard, and the other one. You know, Dr. Blanchard and the other, they discredit
Ray Blanchard and Dr. Zucker.
Yeah, they discredit
Michael Bailey.
Michael Bailey, Dr. McHugh. I mean, it's like anybody that doesn't sing their tune, they find a way to discredit them because they can't have any facts that are against.
They went after Michael Bailey's family.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Who was it? That trans woman?
Andrea
something. Andrea James.
Yeah.
Went after Michael Bailey's family. You know, he's the man that wrote a book that was controversial to the trans community. Danny Flo, I was nervous for you when reading the live chat at NonSequitir. There were trolls there who just didn't listen to you and who were being ugly. I felt Steve had your back. He's cool.
Yeah.
I thought Steve was very kind.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, people, let's let them talk.
Yeah.
You know, they have an opinion.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't think that they've said anything that, you know, that's been directly offensive towards people. They've shared their experience.
Listen,
you know,
there was a feminist that got her account. She was a very famous journalist or something. They got her account taken down because she would not bow down to call somebody their gender because they didn't see them such. People should have the right to not bow down to trans people.
In Canada,
what's up with that?
In Canada, we would be having lawsuit upon lawsuit
because people
for speaking our minds.
Yeah,
you know, there's a WordPress blog that has been on for years and has a very popular following that was taken down by a trans woman who insisted on like having her what was it?
I was reading that.
She had the bikini wax.
Yeah, the one that had, and they're suing like 3 people, and just because they used their real name, she had her entire blog that she had for years removed. Jarshero is saying something. The amount of strength my 80-year-old transgender friend has gone through has opened my eyes. She was thrown into a male goal in the 60s. She's writing a book, priceless.
80-year-old transgender friend has gone through something. She's thrown into a male
role is in the 60s. She's writing a book, priceless.
You know, I look at the lives of many of the transgender, older transgender people like Renee
Richards, who regrets.
Basically, you know, regrets a lot of the things that she actually did, you know, by going into tennis and trying to turn the world upside down and making them accept her. And, you know,
and she regrets her SRS. You know, there's many that do, that regret doing everything they did. I mean, it's like after the fun ends, after the mirror doesn't look as appealing anymore, that's when the regret sets in. You know, after being lonely for many years, the majority of trans people will die alone. They don't have, I mean, it doesn't matter how beautiful the trans woman is. You look at their thing, single. On Facebook pages, all of them have a single. And you could say, wow, they're beautiful, but something's going on. When you can't have a relationship with anyone because you're so self-consumed, no one's going to want to be with you.
So James says, I wish she would entertain this level of contemplation. Personal opinions, but is useless to convince other people. The plural of anecdote is not evidence.
Yeah.
We all bleed red.
That is true. I'm sorry.
Darcel said,
for so much.
I'm a big fan of the Non-Sequitir show, and I think you should give them another chance. It's a great place for talking about difficult things that usually easily trigger.
Well, we agree to go back, and I think Island James is going to be one of the
one of the hosts.
Anyone but Jim. I don't think Jim was equipped to do this.
Well, I mean, Jim was equipped to do what he did.
Yeah, well,
you know, to be the voice of pro-trans ideology.
Exactly.
Made a lot of people happy.
No, I'm sure he did.
In the chat room.
Yeah.
Sandring said, James said, trans, I don't care. You sound like me.
Yeah, and Naya said something before, something about contemplation. I wish she would entertain the level of contemplation.
I read that.
I'm sorry I asked for so much, he said.
Oh, he said that before.
Yeah. Can you keep on?
I'm sorry. I asked for so much.
James, if you want to talk, hey,
it's Mr. Bros.
If you want to talk, James, later on, email me at transitionradioshow@gmail.com. I'd be more than happy to spend some time with you, brother.
Thank you, Derek.
Thank you, Derek. How's it going?
So I'm a big fan. Oh, yeah, we read that. The 2 posts that I last made should be read together. Damn character count restrictions.
Oh, I know. I hate that about
when Twitter's even worse, right?
I know.
You can discredit the people themselves based on their past, yet if you speak truth, it cannot be discredited. Keep preaching the truth, you too.
That's what it's all about.
However you figure it out. God bless you both, James.
Scrub said, what you can. Okay.
And Darcel says, I'm glad you brought up Canada. Yeah. Canada is oh my gosh.
Yeah. But
Canada.
it's all politically driven. When people can't see that this is all politically driven, then they're blind, you know, because that's all it is. The LGBT was driven politically. And it's not like they care about the LGBT. They don't. It's a political platform for people to pass certain laws and push certain things.
As Sandring said, do you have the capability to have guests? I'm typing on my phone, which is slightly annoying.
Yes, we do.
Can we send them a link? Or?
Yeah. If they send me an email to transitionradioshow@gmail.com, the email's on the description area. Derek, how's it going, brother?
Are you guys done with your snow? Oh my gosh, you guys got a bunch of snow like we did.
We had a bunch of snow.
I don't like snow. It looked like Prescott got a lot of snow.
Yeah.
And he was all bundled up.
I know, you look like you were very cold.
Thick jacket. Yeah. Well, yeah. But he used to live in Canada, so he's kind of used to that.
I don't like cold. I'm from Florida. I was born in Cuba. I'm tropical.
My friend Billy blew her head off 70 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa. Give me your number, James says. Give me your number. Yeah, if you want to send us that email. And
send them the email, then we'll.
Bill 89 allows the government to take children from parents, Darcel said.
Yep.
Though it would not likely affect me, But what about my children when they want to have children later in life?
I know. And this is what people need to start really worrying about, you know. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Oh my God, thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah, people
need
need
to take this on the road.
Yes. People need to really realize that their kids are in danger here. Really in massive danger. They don't even know the extent of it. I mean, it's like because of the PC nature, because of the push that's being done, but there's going to come a time where people are going to realize what's really going on, and it might be too late then.
Yeah. Jashira says exactly right. Emotional manipulation for political
That's what happens.
agenda.
That's what happens. They look at us as robots. Their brain are very programmable. They know exactly what they're doing to people. Social media is a very easy way to program people. Your television, the internet. I mean, people
driven by
people don't realize that this is a bigger agenda than most people care to understand, and they could call it conspiracy all they want. But I've been at this for a long time, and I see patterns, and it worries me.
And it's coming, people. I mean, this is another form of manipulation, of a population of people.
Thank you so much. I can't pronounce her name.
Sandrine.
Yes.
And
thank you.
And Darcel says, I live in Canada. And yeah, you know that there are so many things going on in Canada where people like Jordan Peterson, for example, is totally being
silenced
for saying what he does and stuff. And, Dr. Zucker, he had his clinic
closed down.
The CAMS clinic in Toronto closed down because of this type of activity, and then went to court, won, and they had to retract what they said.
Yeah, and they had to pay him a lump sum.
They had to pay him, and then they had to include him on their website.
Yeah, so people are going to create the pushback because the pendulum has gone one way. What goes up must come down. That is definitely for sure.
Debbie says, would love to give. I have no money. All I have is my time, my energy, and my love. Well, thank
you for your time.
Thank you for
so
your
much.
time, energy, and love.
Yes.
That is just enough.
Just as important.
They've mapped the brain.
Yes, they have.
Unfortunately.
They have. Your energy is enough. Yes, totally.
Derek says.
Yes.
The purple sky should tell you something.
Yep. But people don't want to believe, people don't want to believe that there is something going on. They want to call it conspiracy. Conspiracy does not mean that it's a lie. That's what people fail to understand. So
James says, I have 3 sons and 5 stepsons. They and the world hate me.
Wow.
Wife hates me. Just the truth 24/7.
Wow.
Well, we don't hate you, James.
We don't hate you, James.
You're always welcome here. And, if those feelings of hatred are emanating from people, just send it back.
Yeah.
You don't have to accept that.
No.
Thank you, Derek. Global. Support those in faith, even when they don't like me. Do as I do. Just share an energy that they can't fathom. Unique signature.
Totally.
Debbie says, love you, Mark and Lena.
Thank you, Debbie.
Derek, I see you.
We love you.
Scrub, just another confirmation of the visions I was given when Mark said his dreams included all the colors that were in my visions I was given.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, so we're very, very passionate.
Extremely. Sometimes
and
I get a little overboard passionate, but it's like, I've been at this for a long time. I've been a soldier of this. One point I was driving the flag one way, and when I realized something's wrong here, something's not right, I stepped out of myself. I stepped out of my own needs, because that's important, to step out of your own needs and realize that other people are going through massive problems, and I can't just because I want to be validated, go ahead and push an agenda that I believe has some ulterior motive behind it. And, I won't stand silent. I can't stand silent. I'm fighting for women, because I am a female, beard and all. I have to stand up for my sister. I have to stand up for those kids who don't know any better and their parents are making terrible decisions. I have to stand up for those wives and those kids that are being abandoned by their father, that all of a sudden, wants to make their happiness more important than other people's happiness, someone's got to stand up. Someone's got to say, you know what? It's beyond me. Because if everybody just waves the kumbaya flag, what's going to get done in this world? You know, one day we're going to find ourselves in massive danger, and you didn't worry about it because it had nothing to do with you. What's that saying? First they came for the, and then they came for the, and then they came for, until it finally affected you. That's when you stood up and said and did something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're a human family, and we are all suffering. Everybody's unhappy for one reason or another, but we don't sit there and want to destroy ourselves because we think that cutting ourselves up or doing something different or taking some dangerous hormones is going to make us happy. If somebody tells you, take this and it's going to make you happy, run the other direction, because happiness doesn't come from an external thing. It comes from the inside. It's come from self-love, truly loving yourself unconditionally, not with a condition. And, you know, I'm passionate and I will say it, you know.
There's no scalpel that can heal the heart.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a matter of the heart is not something that you could take, you know, a scalpel to a body part to.
I love you so much, Derek. I really do. And, you know, but I'm just reading this because I wanted to read this first. Okay. He goes, I know your heart, Mark, or I would have given up on you. Love you both. Lynn and you are true seekers. Thank you, brother. And, you know, that means the world to me. You mean the world to me. And, you know, like we've said before, we're so sorry for what happened in the past, but I will stand by your side and I love you to death. I really do.
Can't wait to see you.
Yes.
And, you know, hug your neck. And I mean, it's like you and Malia.
Yes,
it'd be so awesome. Marie says, how do I donate to you? I'm relatively new to your channel, but love you lots. From Oz.
We have a PayPal description on the description area that directly go into our PayPal account. There or on our blog, we also have a donate button. I appreciate that very, very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Derek says, James says, amen. Jashira says, love's not passive.
No, I mean, it's tough love is tough love. And, you know, you can't just like be a cheerleader for everybody that wants to do bad things and just cheer them on. If you love somebody, you know, you want to like tell them the hard truth. They may not want to hear it. They may not want to hear it. They may hate you for it, but you have to tell the truth.
Absolutely.
You know?
Standing up for your conviction. Good for you both. Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
Jashira, it's a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
Kitten says, right. Silk. First, they came for the socialists.
That's it.
And I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist.
Exactly.
Then they came for the Jews.
Yep.
And I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes. So, you know, people try to use, you know, the people in the LGBT community, and they use the PC thing. But they don't realize it's like, I'm not anti-LGBT. I'm not anti-trans. I'm anti what the medical community is doing to trans people. I'm anti what people are being done, what people are doing to people in the transgender community, telling them, well, we need to fix you. We need to cut you all up. We need to give you medication so that you could fit into the gender box that you want to be in. Why not tell people, be who you are without hurting yourself? Live your life as you are. That's what's being brave. The other, you're being used by the medical community. You're being used as a guinea pig. And I guarantee you, when you get older, you're going to look back at all of this and you're going to regret it. And you're going to regret the fact that you're lonely, you're sick, and then you didn't accomplish one single thing. At the moment, you're having fun. You're enjoying it. But the fun will end. Cinderella's cart turned into a pumpkin at midnight. We have to realize that. And people are going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you don't want to hear, but I'm going to tell you truth. And I'm going to be honest and loving. And you may not see it as loving, but it's coming from my heart because I know what happens to people like us.
Yeah, Mark, you had that FTM friend who was a very fierce advocate.
Yeah, died at 45.
Fort Lauderdale area. And Mark wanted to speak to what was actually the problem, what was causing his issues and stuff. And none of the people, even when your friend was in the hospital, wanted to hear that it was medical related to taking a blood pressure
A female
medication.
body taking testosterone and the doses that they give us is not healthy. Your bones start to become brittle. Your ligaments start to become brittle. Your heart starts to act up. It gets enlarged. You get blood pressure problems. You get all sorts of problems, but no one talks about that.
Scrub says, you can weld all sorts of things, yet to mend a heart, only love of thyself is needed.
Exactly.
Sandra says, Sandring, email sent though with my fumbled thumbs. I might have gotten it wrong. Oh, well, to be on the show.
Oh, okay. No, I think I did see something, but I don't have the emails open, or I'll check it later. To be on the show. Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, we'd love to have you.
Yes, totally. Yeah, totally.
Silk 1207. Oh, wait.
James said amen. And Mark.
Darcel, as a currently single parent, I'm happy to see some people who are championing efforts to educate people.
It's important, and it's got to be balanced out. It can't just be a one-way road. And I refuse to be silenced. And that's what they were trying to do to us tonight in that show. And it's like, I will not be silenced. And that's why I felt that I had to, be more assertive than I usually would like to be. But, I'm not going to be silenced.
333D, worldwide 333,
okay.
Says, amen. Be who you are. Love will cure the minds of judges. Proud of you too. Been watching Big Brother Derek. Is family. He says you two are golden family. You are no judgment. Love only.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, we love all the family and Derek's Global Witness family, and we love all you guys. And
absolutely,
it's all about love.
We are honored to be part of it.
Yes, totally. I love Derek.
Lots of good people. We've made lots of new great friends.
I can't wait to give him a big bear hug.
Jashira, life like your life's been stolen by the experts. My friend said exactly what you're saying. She's researched herself with good results and now helps others in the community, especially with the breathing techniques.
Yeah.
Sent Marie. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 333 says
Kitten
hearts
love.
And
big
namaste.
Yes. Thank you.
Namaste. Yeah, we just when I see that women like my ex-wife, are not able to speak or willing, to be able to have that platform, be given that platform, or the children of those transgender late transitioners aren't given the opportunity to talk about the pain that it was to lose their parent. And my heart breaks because I know that my children are forever damaged by what I did, and I don't live in guilt.
It took you a lot of time to work through.
I don't, but I live with the realization that I hurt a lot of people.
And that's why when I hear Jim says, well, you got to be happy. Really? And what about the happiness about other people? How about the ex's happiness? How about the 5 kids' happiness? Does anybody think about their happiness? Does anybody think that you're not just the only one transitioning? You're affecting the life of other people around you,
And you couldn't tell me that in 2014. Yeah. I wouldn't have believed you. I wouldn't have listened to you. I would have gotten upset.
If, of course, like all the other trans people do in the chat room.
But I know now that that's not the way to be.
Because in the end, if you're going to weigh things out, let's say you're being judged, you're going to weigh out your pros and the cons of your transition. I guarantee you, and I know a lot of people won't agree with me, but I guarantee you that at the end of the haul, 10, 15, 20 years from now, you're going to put that weighing together and you're going to go, damn, I had a great life. I had a great job. I had a great family. I would have died with tremendous legacy. Now I've lost it all. I had a little fun looking at the mirror. I went out with a couple of guys, had a good time, but what do you really, does it weigh out? Was it really worth it?
I mean, Mark and I are lucky. Yeah. We're very lucky.
We have each other.
you know, because we don't have our families.
We don't.
Hey guys, how are you? What are your thoughts on that 10-year-old who transitioned to Brazil?
Horrible. I mean, that kid could grow to be 15, 20 years old and go, why did you guys let me do this? You know?
Fifth World joins us.
Hey, Fifth World, how you doing? Yeah.
No parents, no grandparents. I'm 51. They all passed. I know not how to BS or what I am, what to do. Yeah, it's really hard, you know. I have, you know, now a 9-year-old going on 10 that I didn't get to meet, really. You know,
doesn't know a father, has a distant memory when they were 4 years old. You know, and it's like, really? So we're parading around this stuff and telling people to leave their family so they could pursue their happiness?
Even when I was like in the middle of it, I would tell people who were considering it. Yeah. I said, please don't. Yeah. Don't. Just it's not worth it to the point of destroying. My son said it well. My oldest, who's very, very wise. He said, so you decided to genocide us to prevent your suicide. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God.
We have read accounts of children of transgender individuals who have wanted to commit suicide because they could not fathom their father doing what they did. They could not fathom their father sexually being kind of perverted with them, showing them their new vagina creation, how they have to dilate. And, you know, all these things that these trans individuals put their children through. I mean, all for their happiness. So, Jim, I'm sorry, no. Happiness is not the only thing that matters. Not a narcissistic self-induced happiness, because we don't live as an island. We live as a community. We live as a part of a cell level of other people that, you know, you brought into this world. So, you know, I'm sorry, I can't justify it, you know, and I understand people need to try to find some happiness, but you need to really think things through.
And, you know, on Mark and I, you know, in our situation, we attempted to detransition twice, you know, together. Yeah. And both times it was frowned on, you know, rejected.
Yeah, because they didn't want any part of it. They didn't want any part of our marriage. They didn't want any part
so of it. It was very much something that, you know, it really does traumatize so many, you know.
I think it's going to be 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So, well, Debbie Price says we all learn through experience. We have all hurt others.
Yes.
And all we can do is move forward with love.
And that's, you know, and educate other people and prevent other people from doing this. That's where the passion comes from, because there's been people hurt and it has accomplished absolutely nothing, because I'm no more of a man that I thought back in 2003. And you're no more of a woman than you thought you were going to become, because you're lied to by a system that tells you that it could be done. I'm here to tell you sex cannot be altered. No. You could get all sorts of cosmetic surgeries, but you'll never be that sex that you want to transition to. And you're going to have complications, and your life is going to be shortened, and you're going to probably end up alone. You know, the chances are that you will end up alone. And so was it really worth it?
Sarah Bees, yeah, exactly. And also remember that your relatives do love you, but they have a stubborn side to them that they can't fight off.
Well, they didn't bargain for this. You know, it's like my mom knew she gave birth to a girl, not a boy.
Still does.
And still does. And to this day, she doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
Tracy says 10-year-olds can't drive or vote.
Exactly.
But they can decide to change their sex.
Which is, I think, it's crazy. Train. Yeah, it's crazy. It's totally crazy.
I'd like to see more of you on the show, Darcel says. The tougher the conversation, the more that can be fleshed out.
Exactly.
I hope you keep moving forward, because you do have people from all over supporting your efforts.
I appreciate that. And yeah, we would love to come back, definitely.
James says, wow. Were you involved in an accident? I saw a video that was old. Look, an emotional time, and Mark was there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm working on a video that I did 4 years later, and I'm just about finished with it, but I'll put it up on this channel. but it documented the accident, what happened, what took place, and how much, we struggled, and, you know, how many miracles we saw, you know, along the way. And, you know, when I first saw Mark, I just saw the eyes of compassion. You know, I mean, the first video that we ever did together was me in the ICU room.
That's where we met
on
for
the
the
bed,
first time.
And Mark's looking at me with this big, I mean, it's not a masculine smile. It's a beautiful, I mean, look at this teethy, beautiful smile. It was the caring love of a female. And I could see right through it, and it was beautiful. And that's
don't let the beard and the tough.
That's what makes him so beautiful, is that he is a two-spirited person. He's a person that is fully, you know, recognized in his masculine role, but fully also a female. I mean, that is a beautiful thing, and I am so blessed to have that in my life, because God knew that, or the universe, or whoever God is, or whatever, knew that that's what I needed in my life, you know, and that's something that I treasure. And, you know, that's why I look back at my transition, and I look at all the things that have taken place since, and I can't regret everything because I met you, you know. So thank you, Tracy. Jashira, the whole society is ill-equipped with transitions in general, teens going up to elderly. Life is a continuous transition, and there's no real help out there. Have too often fumbled their way through.
Exactly.
I just subscribed to your channel. You both are truly lovely.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you, Fifth World.
Thank you for watching. Awesome courage.
You're perfect now.
Thank you, Fifth World.
Yes, thank you.
You're so sweet. I can't believe I said anything that was not nice about you. I don't know why I did that. Awesome courage, and what a voice you have, Mark. You need a higher quality video, and you'll do well. Well, it just so happens that I used to work in TV, and I've been encouraging him to do more videos, and we can do some higher end stuff. I was talking about we could take it out to locations in town around New Mexico, and, you know, shoot some videos and stuff. He's excellent. He is excellent.
Thank you.
So you two are in love, true love. I see that and feel that the way you two can finish each other's sentences.
We've been together for 4 years. And
the vibe of being comfortable around that special someone. You two are adorable. Love you have is, the love you have is sweet.
Thank you.
Tracy, Danny, Flynn, Mark, and Lena are true loving souls. I'm grateful I found their channel.
Thank you, Tracy.
Fifth, well, it's whatever. My boyfriend is super young. We're all happy.
Yep.
A live set somewhere even. Yeah, live set. Hi, Fifth World. And Derek. Oh, no, forgotten, really. Been called way worse.
Yeah, our goal is to take this on the road, to actually educate people, have seminars, meet people.
Hug people.
Yes, really, like, have a ministry on wheels. That's the goal.
Help people with their diets and stuff. I mean, we also are very adamant about living healthy and, you know, healthy mind, healthy spirit, you know, healthy body, healthy spirit. You know, that's what it's all about.
Well, we're gonna call it quits because we've been on 5:30 to what time did we end with them, and then directly from them we came.
We talk way too much.
And I'm tired. And I gotta go wee from drinking all this water.
Thank you, you guys.
Thank you.
Yes, we do have a Facebook. Mark's at Angelo Cummings.
All that information.
Yeah,
if you go into the about part on the on this channel, all our links are there. Facebook, her Facebook, my Facebook, our blogs, different blogs. And so, yeah. But thank you guys so very much. Thank you for all of you that have given your time. Thank you for all of you who have donated. You know, please remember to subscribe, like, you know, and just share the information out there, because there's very few people really talking about the hard truths regarding this. And it's important to be heard because a lot of people's lives depend on it, you know.
If you ever make it to SoCal, I would love to meet you in person, give you hugs.
And we want to do that. That's why we want to get, you know, the little van and just do house calls and just meet up in parks or even like seminars and, you know, to really, we love to explore. Like obviously today's show, we didn't do our normal, but explore spirituality together, you know, grow spiritually, evolve, because that's what we need to do. Learn, you know, what we are capable of doing as spirit beings and growing and just getting away from this matrix, you know?
So where do you live in Southern California? I was from, well, I said earlier, from Santa Ana. So yeah, California is kind of a, you know, just a thing for me. So it's something that I wanted to share with you, but when we were there, it wasn't in the greatest conditions and stuff. Peace of God, all. Fifth World, much love you too, Scrub.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Scrub.
Thank you. Means a lot, Jashira. Thank you for the time and kind words. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Have a great night, Asandra.
Love you, Kitty XT.
Yeah, love you too, Kitten XT. And I saw you in the group. Thank you for joining us there and giving us support.
Thank you.
I'm sure you saw
the vitriol that we were exposed to, but that's okay, you know. Thank you so much, Isandring.
I'll be in New Mexico Monday. I'll wave at you.
Okay. Yeah, we live in Silver City. Thank you so much, Derek.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us and your support.
You're from Tustin, really? Wow.
Where's that at?
I used to work like right down the street, you know, like on over by I-5. There used to be a farmer's market out there. I don't know if you remember that, but Jamboree.
Is that California?
Yeah. Tustin, California.
I'm from Florida.
Tustin Ranch
Fort
Road.
Lauderdale.
Yes.
Originally
so yeah,
born in Cuba.
we could shoot the breeze about Southern California. Yeah. Used to love this one taco joint there. It was really good. Yeah, off Tustin Ranch. Good night, family. Sleep well. Tracy said. Kitten XT Fullerton. Wow, just down the street. I was like 3 miles from Anaheim Stadium. So Fullerton's not too far from Anaheim Stadium. Scrub Derek, tell Malia that Mr. Q's son says hi. That's what Scrub said. I'm in Huntington Beach. Lived in Costa Mesa. Wow. I used to live in Costa Mesa too, actually. Right by the Orange County Marketplace, swap meet. You're welcome. Was happy to be there.
Thank you.
GB from Tustin, awesome. You're close to Big Brother. Yep, I know. Yes, we'll do Scrub. All right.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
We could go on and on, but Mark has to go to the bathroom.
I'm tired. And
all we have to do is hit stop broadcast. We don't have to air that.
We don't have to air at the end. And thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Love you guys. We have some great shows coming up. Actually, tentatively we have, and should be all A-okay. We have Gerald Clark joining us on Tuesday.
The Gerald Clark.
So that's going to be an interesting show. There's a lot of great things that we want to discuss regarding his body system and all the amazing things that we are learning. And we're just going to, you know, put a great show out there for you guys. But before then, we're probably going to have a show.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe like Monday. I don't know. We'll probably take off tomorrow.
We're going to take off tomorrow?
We'll see.
Handle it?
We'll see. We'll see. We always say we will, but then we end up wanting to come on. But
it's like, oh, I want to talk about this.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Come back on.
But guys, I love you so very much.
We both do.
I apologize if my passion sometimes gets confused with, you know, anger or whatever else, but everything comes from my heart. I don't know how to be any other way. I really don't.
All heart.
You know, and it's like, but always know that I do love you. Yeah. And I mean no one any harm. I really want to just educate and help people really realize what's going on and realize what's going on with you, that you're being abused and used by a medical system that doesn't care about you. Anyway, we love you. But remember to always love yourselves too. Good night. Buenas noches. Que duerman bien. Ciao.